We're live. Welcome to the Onyx Path News, and hello, welcome for another week. It's always lovely to be here. It's always lovely to address you, the wonderful Onyx Path audience. Why am I here today, and what am I here to talk about? Well, as you may have been able to tell from the title of this particular Onyx Path News, or maybe the thumbnail used in this Onyx Path News is preview. First and foremost, I want to talk about the Curious Cats of Mao. More likely than not, you will be aware that Curious Cats of Mao has been on back a kit now for a little under a week. We launched it last week. And, well, I've said this before, and I'm going to make it clear again right now. We never know how well a crowdfunding campaign is going to go. We never know how quickly a book is going to fund. And we especially don't know when it's either a new game or a source book for an existing game. You know, there are some games that could be described as reliable in that regard, or predictable, maybe. But Curious Cats of Mao, source book to the Realms of Pugmire. We know that a lot of people love cats. We know that a lot of people love Monarchies of Mao, but we didn't know how this would go. Funded within the first 48 hours. It has already surpassed, I think, 2 stretch goals, and it is now approaching the third. The third stretch goal, which I think is going to please a lot of people, is one that actually is going to result in various Curious Cats of Mao, Realms of Pugmire artwork being put on pet paraphernalia, as I put it. So if you are an animal owner, and if you particularly want to decorate your animal and your animal's things with the various emblems, symbols, artworks, and such from Curious Cats of Mao, this is a very good time to jump on board onto the crowdfunding campaign and make your support known. You know, as I say, we never know how well these are going to do. We never know when the funding will slow down, or when or if it will pick up again. So if this is one you're not sure about, please do speak to us about it on the Onyx Path Discord. I've got that linked below. I've got the crowdfunding campaign linked below. We would love to know your queries, your thoughts, what you want to know about it. The overmind of Mao and Pugmire, Eddie Webb, has been doing loads of interviews and actual plays promoting this game, and I think it's wonderful to see. I always love a game that Eddie's running, and the fact that it has new callings in, it's got new material on all the various settings, the various monarchies of Mao that were, I guess, previewed in a fashion in the Monarchies of Mao book from a few years ago. This is a new game, effectively. It is an upgrade, an update, and I think if you enjoyed Monarchies of Mao and if you want really more setting, a lot more depth to it, Curious Cats of Mao is something you will want to go for. Plus, it uses the Onyx 20 system, same as the Realms of Pugmire, and is perfectly suitable for crossing over your dogs and cats into the same merry party. So that's Curious Cats of Mao. Now, what else do we have? Well, Across the 8 Directions, which is our huge geography sourcebook for Exalted 3rd Edition, is now available in print on demand. Again, linked below. This is a book that has stormed the charts in Drive-Thru RPG. It has done incredibly well for us, much like Once and Future, which I spoke about last week. Once and Future, less predictable to go along with predictability. Exalted books, they tend to do well. This one did incredibly well out of the gate at PDF level, and it continues to do well at print on demand. This is a book that contains a huge number of beasts, of basically monsters you can attack and quest against, new settings for you to explore, loads of story hooks that you can basically incorporate into your character's backstory, or a storyteller can use to basically set up campaigns for you. Across the 8 Directions really fleshes out the realm and beyond for your Exalted games. So if you've been not sure what to do with Exalted, this is a good book to go to. If you love a campaign setting, and I'm a big fan of things like the Forgotten Realms campaign setting, Planescape, Scarred Lands, of course, and this is why The World Below is so campaign setting heavy. Across the 8 Directions is a good one to go for. And hello, Alan. Thank you very much for tuning in live, as ever. Now, what else do I have to cover with you? Well, one thing I do want to tell you to do is make sure you're tuning into some of the upcoming Onyx Path casts, because I think you're going to find them very, very interesting, and that's all I will say about that. One other thing I'm going to say is that the backers of Scion God have received their copies in PDF. This is the advanced copy, so we'll be collecting errata. You would have been sent a link to said errata. The reason I'm saying this now is because we're receiving very good feedback, but also because I know not everybody checks their email regularly, and not everyone checks their emails from Kickstarter regularly. So if you backed Scion God, make sure you didn't just delete those emails. Make sure you get onto Kickstarter, download your copy via Drive-Thru-RPG, and give it a read. Submit your errata so that we get it in before the cutoff. Errata is an incredibly helpful process. Of course, we couldn't do it without all of you. And I see we've actually got a question here from Temporary 67315, which sounds like a temporary name. How is Curious Cats of Mao different from Monarchies of Mao? Well, 1, it uses the updated Onyx 20 rule set. 2, it has new playable options. 3, it provides more setting information than before. 4, it has an expanded bestiary. 5, it has 3 adventures in the back. It is an entire update renewal of Monarchies of Mao. Of course, it's got wholly new art throughout it as well. So this is not simply a a polish on an existing game. This is a new way to tackle it that, of course, uses the same rules as Realms of Pugmire, the second edition, effectively, of the Pugmire RPG. So yeah, I think it's worth checking out. One other thing I'll say, and I know I say this about a few games, but I reserve special praise for Realms of Pugmire and Curious Cats of Mao in this regard, is regarding art. Even if you're not interested in backing the campaign, I suggest clicking on the link below that takes you to the crowdfunding campaign, because you see a lot of the art previewed for Curious Cats of Mao. And I think you will probably agree with me that it's some of the most beautiful material we've got out there right now. I've got something else to tell you about. I just got done first proofing The Hedge for Changeling the Lost. That's right, we've got more books coming out for Chronicles of Darkness, and The Hedge is one of them. It's a big one as well. And it's just the right time too, because I've just started running a Changeling the Lost Chronicle for some of my Patreons, one of the groups. We've got a new motley of 5 changelings coming together, and I'm very much looking forward to that chronicle, the next session of which is going to be this Sunday. So yeah, I've been reading through The Hedge, both from a professional standpoint, proofing it, but also to see what ideas I can steal right off the bat for my own personal game. So otherwise, the only other thing I want to point out is, of course, Start.Playing. As always, you can run games on there, play games on there that we put out, and I have the $10 credit link down below, which you can take for free, use it to get your way into games and such. But also, I do strongly recommend, if you love any of these games and you want to give them a go, something I said last time, I guess a couple of months ago, is even if you are unfamiliar with a game, don't let that put you off running one on Start.Playing. Simply advertise it as you are new to this game and you are looking for people who are likewise new but interested in the game. You will be amazed at how popular that game will be just by advertising it as a new game by a new storyteller or story guide for new players. All of a sudden, the barriers of expectation come down. Everyone can sign on, realizing, knowing quite happily, this is going to be a game where we occasionally have to refer to the book. This is a game where we will have to occasionally pause, check the rules. I think when everyone is on that level, it means everyone gets to learn together. And generally speaking, that means everyone gets to enjoy themselves together as well. So anyway, give it some thought. Start Playing is a wonderful venue for you to run your games and play new games, meet new people, and form new gaming groups. So with that said, I am going to call it there, but thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.